back to another video. This time we're going to be doing a season review for the 2021-22 Swansea City season. So yeah, before we get into our part, we have got 5 other Swansea City content creators to feature on the channel to give their thoughts of the season as well. So before we get into our thoughts, we'll hand it over to them.
So hello everyone on TRJA channel. It's Marley here from the MarleySCFCVlogs YouTube channel, talking about the season. I'm just going to sum it up briefly for you. I think it's been an average season. I think it's been our worst season in the Championship, but I think it's going to be for better causes. I do think Russell Martin's style of play is going to be implemented better for next year, only because he didn't have a pre-season last year, did he? So we'll be better prepared going into next season. But yeah, I feel like if we keep key players, then we can be a strong force next year, and you know, holding on to the likes of Flynn Downs, Michael Obafemi, Joe Perot, and except others. I think we can really challenge for top 6 next year. So yeah, obviously double done this year as well. That was good. Mental day. I know sadly you lot weren't there, Luke and Jake, but I was there, and it was probably one of the best days of my life, and yeah, it was great. But yeah, as I said, season's been average. I think it's going to be for better causes though, so yeah, hopefully next season brings better fortunes for the Swans, and hopefully we can have a better run of results in next year, and hopefully chance for a playoff. So thank you, Luke and Jake, for having me. Been a pleasure once again. I know I've not been in the vlogs much this year, but next year it'll be changing. I'll be back in more, probably in most of them. So yeah, thank you guys. Rhys Stevens gets parted everywhere he goes.
A massive thanks to Jake and Luke for inviting me on to this video. Absolute legends. So this season then, it's been a decent season, I think it's fair to say. A bit shaky at the start, but it's always going to happen with the style of play that Russell Martin is trying to get into us, for us to play, of course. And looking back on it now, you know, we could have picked up a lot more points in areas where we've dropped some, like Millwall home, Hull home, for example, and performances at the end of the season where we could have had points as well, maybe pushed on to the playoffs if we really wanted it. But, you know, everyone knew this season was going to be a rebuilding season, and I think next year is going to be really exciting. Of course, it looks like Piro or a valuable player is going to have to leave for us to buy more players, but if it is Piro, you know, we've got the likes of Obafemi still there, and we'll probably pick up another striker on the cheap and turn him into the next hero, who knows. Looking on to next season then, I think it's going to be really exciting. Of course, Flynn Downs in his press conference has already said he can't wait for next season. I don't know how much to buy into that, because of course players can hype you up and then just massively disappoint, but he seems really confident. So is Liam Manning and a few other players. I hope they're not wrong, and I hope next season is going to be exciting. I think as soon as the transfer window's shut, we'll know a lot more about our expectations and that. I think going into next season, I think targeting to be in the playoff push at the end of the season is probably fair. And yeah, thank you very much for having me on. Absolute legends, Upper Swans. Come on, next season then. Let's get to the Premier League this time. Come on. Cheers for having me. Bye.
Hey guys, it's Curtis here, also known as TRJA on the SCFCVlogs channel, and they've asked me to give my thoughts of the season. So it's been a season all about change, really. Most players have played in a playoff final last season, left the club, and it's been a season all about change. So did Cooper as well, and Russell Martin came in, and more younger players came in, and I was expecting that sort of season, but 15th, I mean, it's been a season of up and downs, really. But looking at the way that Russell Martin plays, I mean, sometimes it's dull possession football, sometimes it's like quick attack football. Few Swansea sometimes turned up, sometimes didn't turn up. So, I mean, I can see positives for next season, but if we recruit well, I think we'll have a decent season. But if we don't recruit, I think we'll have another one of them average seasons like the recent season. So, yeah, hopefully we can have a good season next season. And, yeah. Plus, something cool did happen this season, though. 110 years, one double. We completed a double over Cardiff. First South Wales derby double, and we were the ones to do it as well. So, yeah, we were history makers. But other than that, it was a pretty up and down season.
So thanks Jake for getting me on. This is my personal Swansea City review of the 2021-2022 season. Now, of course, Martin came in a few days before, you know, the championship game against Blackburn Rovers, our first game of the season was supposed to start. So, yeah, we were expecting quite a rough start and, you know, maybe until Christmas and we'd improve. And, yeah, to be fair, I was spot on, really. We struggled, you know, round about low mid-table. And then we picked up performance, especially towards the end of the season. I think we only lost, what, 2 of our last 11 games towards the end of the season. So we went on a really, really good run. But, yeah, my expectation for the season wasn't, you know, too much. I think I predicted us to finish in 9th place. We finished, what, 15th, so I wasn't too far off, really. But, yeah, frustrating, really, because, you know, we're not a huge club or a small club either. You know, we should be pushing for the playoffs like we have the last couple of seasons under Steve Cooper. So, frustrating not to, you know, push into the playoffs under Russell Martin. But I do think next season, you know, if we can keep Downs Pro, which I think we're probably going to have to sell one if we're going to reinvest in the squad, which we need to do, you know, playoffs should be an expectation next season, and if we don't, then, you know, I think Martin will struggle to keep his job, especially with Swansea fans being quite fickle at times. But yeah, quite frustrating. You know, we did a double over Cardiff first ever times, you know, we could take pride out of that. We had really good games against, you know, Bournemouth at home, Fulham at home until the red card, so it just shows that, you know, we're building towards something, you know, we can compete against some of the best teams in the league. But, you know, the problem with Swansea City is that we haven't got the best of owners in terms of finances, and it's unlikely that we're going to keep our best players again this season. So in the summer we'll probably be selling Downs or Pro or both. Maybe Obafemi will attract interest from one of the relegated Premier League sides as well. So yeah, it's going to be a long summer for a Swansea City fan. But, you know, under Russell Martin, we've done some really good business on the cheap. Downs was only £1 million. Patterson was a free transfer. Andy Fisher's looked okay since he came in. He was quite cheap as well. So yeah, under Martin and, you know, the recruitment side of things, I'm quite positive. And hopefully next season under Russell Martin we can try and finish in the top half. I think that'll be a really good objective. But yeah, thanks for having me on, Jake. Best of luck in your YouTube channel, guys, and hopefully get 1K very soon.
Hello, it's the real Jack Army here. We are back with a final season review for Swansea City. I think the season as a whole has been quite decent because we got a new manager. His tactics had to take a while to drill in, but I also think the finishing where we did 15th wasn't a fair reflection on the season. Our best players this season have to be Michael Obafemi and Joe Piero. I think if we keep holding them to, I think we can push on to, I'm going to say, a playoff place next season. Them two on fire. Didn't have all season, basically, because of new tactics and injuries to the team and, you know, results not going our way. But the best thing of this season has to be doing the double over Cardiff City, home and away. 7-0, I think, was an aggregate. Fantastic. You know, couldn't ask for anything better. But yeah, I think next season now, we're still got to wait and find out who's going to leave. Fingers crossed we keep hold of Ben Cabango, big, good centre-back there. I think if we keep hold of Obafemi and Joe Piero definitely, if we keep hold of him, I think we've got a chance of pushing on to the playoffs next season, fingers crossed. So thank you for having me on the channel, and see you all next season for bigger and better videos at the Swans.
Right, so obviously massive thanks for all them for featuring on the channel. Now over to our part then. So we've got a few different things to talk about. So starting with, we're just going to say our thoughts on the season as a whole. So to be honest with you, I thought it was quite an up and down season. Obviously the highlight of the season being a double over Cardiff. However, we didn't really, you know, other than that, we didn't really make much memories or, you know, anything to remember the season by. Obviously we finished bang in middle of the table, really. Obviously I predicted 9th, Luke predicted, I think you said 8th or something like that, something similar. So we both predicted fairly high, but we weren't too far off. But I think, you know, as an overall season, I don't think it was great. But then again, it's a learning curve. We're trying to build Russell Martin's only just come in, so I think next season we should be, you know, hoping to do better. But yeah, this season as a whole has been topsy-turvy. Haven't really been able to keep much consistency, and it's been, yeah, a pretty up and down season. But what would you say about the season then?
Yeah, it has been a very average season, but we are going through a transitional period where, you know, we've got a very, very young team, young squad, you know, young players that are going to be good for the future as well. Obviously, Martin's a young manager as well. He's only 33. He's one of the youngest managers in English football, I'm pretty sure. So, obviously, we have to try and trust the process. There is a lot of potential with the squad as long as we can keep certain players. But yeah, it has been a very up and down season. As you said about both Cardiff games, that is probably a highlight. Haven't really got anything else. There's been some really poor performances, some decent performances as well. But overall, it has been a really average season, considering where we did protect our team to finish earlier on in the season. So yeah, it has been a very average season. But you know, I do trust Russell Martin for next season, and you know, I think we will do a lot better next season, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, and then the next thing I'm going to talk about is thoughts on the transfers we made. So in the summer we made 8 signings, I believe. So we brought in Reece Williams on loan, we brought in Ethan Laird on loan, we brought in Olivier Ncham, Joel Pirro, Flynn Downs, Michael Obafemi, Kyle Joseph and Jamie Patterson. And then in January we brought in Nathaniel Ogbeta, Andy Fisher, Finley Burns, and then Finley Burns, Hannes Wolf and Cyrus Christie all on loans. But yeah, so I think the standout signings for us this season, I think if I had to pick a handful, I would probably say, I'd say Flynn Downs. If I had to pick the top 5, I'd go Flynn Downs, Joel Pirro, Jamie Patterson, Cyrus Christie and Michael Obafemi. But what about you? Would you say are our standout signings then?
Oh yeah, Pirro, Downs, Obafemi, Patterson and for Ncham as well.
Yeah, I mean, I think we have made a lot of signings. Obviously, a couple of them are on loan, so they've gone back to their clubs. But, you know, I think overall it's been quite a good season in terms of transfers we made. I thought, you know, considering we're quite a thin squad, I thought we brought in the right signings. But, yeah, now moving on to thoughts on Russell Martin then. So I thought Russell Martin, you know, first season in the Championship to finish 15th is actually not too bad. Obviously, he's the first manager in history to do the South Wales Derby double, and he's done it on his first attempt. So, you know, doing 7-0 on aggregate as well, that's a great achievement. And I think, you know, we just got to give him time. I think next season will be right up there. But, you know, he's new, he's young, he's hungry to win. He's going to bring in, you know, some young players. That's what he does with, you know, possession-based sides, and it is working. But we just got to be a bit more consistent on what we're doing, and hopefully next season it will pay dividends. But what's your thoughts on Russell Martin this season then?
I think he's done a very decent job bringing in some really good players that have turned out to be really good for us. And yeah, he does play a really nice style of football. I think it's just trying to get the right players in to really work in our system. And, you know, it's good that we play from the back. You know, we don't really try and play long balls over the top. We tend to try and keep the ball on the ground, which is what I quite like. I prefer the football of Russell Martin compared to Steve Cooper, in the sense that, you know, we actually know how to play, we know how we want to play, and we're still trying to find out how we can really adapt and develop. But yeah, it's been a really average season under for Martin really and the squad. But I think next season, obviously, we need to make more signings in the summer. But you know, I do trust Russell Martin, and I know over the last 2 seasons we have had back-to-back playoffs. Obviously, this season we finished 15th, so there's a massive drop-off. But yeah, I think we can do much better next season, and there have been some decent results this season as well that we can look back on and remember for the rest of our lives really. So I do trust the process, and I think he's had an average season.
Yeah, next we're going to move on to how we've improved this season from last. And to be honest with you, there's not too many improvements. Obviously, there are a few things we've improved on, such as, you know, we're more of a possession-based side. I'd say we're playing better football. Obviously, the results are what matter, but we're playing better football than last season. Obviously, we're starting to introduce more young players, and I know Steve Cooper did that as well. But I think we're even younger in terms of average, you know, players' age at the moment. So I think, you know, he's starting to introduce a lot more players through the academy, like Cameron Congreve. So that's something that we've improved on. But yeah, how would you say we've improved this season on last season?
I don't know, to be honest with you. I think I'd say we've improved in the sense that we've made the right type of signings that we've needed to in the right positions. Obviously bringing in Joel Pro as a striker. Obviously we got rid of Andre Ayew in the summer, and we needed that striker to come in and replace him. And for him to get 24 goals in his first season, I thought was incredible. So I think we've really improved in terms of bringing players in. And yeah, obviously the style of football's better, as you said, but obviously results are what matters. But you know, I think there has been a bit of improvement in terms of signings, I'd say.
Yeah, and then so now moving on to standout players then this season. So if I had to pick again a top 5 like I did with the transfers, so top 5 players, then I'm going to go with Joel Pirro, Flynn Downs, Kyle Norton, Ben Cabango, and I think I'll probably go with Matt Grimes. But what about you? Standout players then for us this season?
Yeah, Joel Pro number 1, Downs number 2, let's go for Patterson number 3, Norton number 4, and then we go for Christie number 5. I know he's only came in since January, but I think the impact he's had playing in that right wing back spot to replace Ethan there, I think he's been really good. So I'd put Christie as my number 5th.
Yeah, and then now moving on to best moments of the season then. So I've got 3 that come to mind when I first think of best moments, and they're obviously 2 of them being obviously Cardiff home and Cardiff away. They're the standout ones. And another one I'd probably go with I'd probably say Bristol away. Obviously, I think it was the first away game of the season actually, and obviously, well, I think it's our first. No, it wasn't the first away game of the season. It was the first away win of the season. Sorry, and we were there. So yeah, it was a very good atmosphere and a very good result. So I'd say the top 3 moments would be Cardiff home, Cardiff away, and Bristol away. But what about you as standout moments this season?
Yeah, I think I might have to agree with you on that. To be honest, I think also doing the double over West Brom as well. I know they haven't really been a great team this season, but from what we thought they were going to be, considering they got relegated from the Premiership, we thought they would be up there. And to beat them both home and away quite comfortably in the end as well. I thought that was really good. I'm going to go away to that as well, which is really good to see. But yeah, obviously against Bristol and against Cardiff as well, you know, probably our 2 rivals in the Championship at this moment in time. Yeah, I thought it was a great moment, and yeah, hopefully next season we can do the same.
Yeah, now moving on to best goal. I mean, it's hard to do best goal, so I'm going to turn it down to 2 factors. So I'm going to say, if you're going off by the actual quality of the finish, I'd probably say Perot's versus Blackpool at home. But if you're going off the magnitude and the occasion, I'd probably say Ben Cabango's versus Cardiff, because it was the one that kind of settled those nerves. It's the second goal, and it kind of, you know, we knew at that point we were winning the game. So yeah, I'd say quality of the finish, Perot's versus Blackpool, but the occasion, I'd go Cabango's against Cardiff. But what about you?
Yeah, I think Perot's against Blackpool was good. I liked Wolves against Reading, where he killed into the top corner. I like that one.
Yeah. Manning had a good few against Preston and Reading.
I liked Incham's things against Barnsley. I know the keeper did get a touch to it, but I think he was on the right and killed it into the top left, which was quite nice. But yeah, in terms of the occasion, I'd have to go for Cabango's as well.
Yeah, and then now moving on to the 2 awards then. So most improved player then. So surprising one, but I'm actually going to go with Joel Latibeaudiere. I think, you know, last season he was, you know, a bit, you know, inconsistent in terms of game time, which obviously wasn't his fault, because obviously we had Cabango, Bennett and Gehi all on top form, and you know, it's hard to, you know, come into a side in your first season when they've already established a back 2 or back 3 in our case. But I think this season Joel Latibeaudiere has been brilliant. His consistency all season, he's been one of our most consistent players, and he's starting to get a lot more game time, and he showed that he can adapt to playing centre back, left wing back, right wing back. He can play anywhere along the back line, and I thought, you know, he's been exceptional really. Not that he was bad last season, but now he's proved, you know, what a player he is. But who would you give the most improved player to?
Tough one. I think I'd actually go for Brian Manning, to be honest with you. He's had to adapt to a new position playing centre back, which he didn't normally play that, because he was always naturally left wing back / left back. And I think he adapted to that position really well, considering he's not exactly the tallest of players either. And you know, he chipped in with a few goals as well. And you know, to replace obviously Bidwell, he had to come in and try and play in that role as well at times. So I'd probably say Manning, to be honest with you. I think he's very underrated in our squad.
Yeah, and then nextly on to player of the season then. So I've narrowed it down to 3 players. I'm going to go with Joel Pirro, Flynn Downs and Kyle Norton. I know obviously Perot won the Fans Player of the Award, I believe, and I think Norton won Players Player. But for me, I'm actually going to go with Flynn Downs. I think he edges it over those two just because of consistency. Obviously, Perot played a vital part in scoring goals. Norton was consistent in the back, but I think Flynn Downs' consistency was unmatched. I think Grimes should be up there because a bit, unrecognised. Obviously, he played every minute of every game this season, but for me, Flynn Downs is his first season in. We needed a centre midfielder, and he's done that job exceptionally well. So, player of the season for me, Flynn Downs. But what about you?
I think I'd have to agree with you on Flynn Downs. I think he gives you at least a 7 or an 8 most weeks. And yeah, it's just quality. We signed him from obviously Ipswich, a young midfielder. No one really knew who he was or what he could be about. And obviously Martin's done obviously got him in, and he's been incredible. I didn't expect him to make this impact on our squad. Our midfield hasn't always been the strongest. Obviously we had Conor Hurahan on loan, and I thought he was a great player, and we needed someone to obviously replace him. And I think Flynn Downs has been a perfect replacement for that. And obviously Jay Fulton's found it hard to get back into the team because Downs has been so consistent. So yeah, I'd have to give it to Downs, and obviously special mentions obviously Perot as well. A young striker from the Eredivisie, getting 24 goals in your first season. If we can keep him, well, next season, he could even score more, I'd say. I'm not saying we're going to be finishing in the top 6 next year and he'll get 40 plus goals like Mitrovic did, but he will be a quality player. Perot will, but I will give it to Flynn Downs because of consistency.
Yeah, and then finally the last thing we're going to talk about then is how we're going to improve for next season then, and where I think we're going to finish. So I think how to improve on next season, it sounds cliche, but I think you just got to be more consistent. I think we're good at what we do, but we're not consistent at it, and that's what the best teams in the league need to do. So I think we need to bring in a few more signings, hopefully keep hold of the likes of Perot, Downs, Obafemi, Patterson, Grimes. It's going to be hard, but if we keep hold of our best players and bring in players around them, I think we'll do very well next season. And I think as I said, it sounds cliche, but just be more consistent on what you do, and then who knows what can happen. But if I had to say where we're going to finish next season, I know it's early days. Obviously, this will change when our championship predictions come out, but based off now, I'm going to have to say mid-table again, but higher than this season. Obviously, we finished 15th this season, so I'm going to go with maybe 10th this season, so I think we'll just miss out on playoffs. But how do you think we're going to improve on next season, and where do you think we'll finish based off that?
I think in terms of how we can improve, I think towards the end of the second half of the season, we've been scoring a lot more goals, and obviously at the start of the season we weren't really doing that, and also I think defensively we have been a bit let down. So I think we definitely need to sign a centre back who's tall and quite quick, because I think we're always getting caught out in the air. I think perfect example was against Bournemouth when Kiefer Moore came on. He was winning everything in the air. Cabango got sent off, and then after that we had no proper centre half who was quite tall. So I think that's definitely where we need to improve. Yeah, we do need to obviously be a bit more consistent, as you've said, because we've been so inconsistent this season. And yeah, it's about keeping those type of players as well. If we can try and keep Perot for another season at least. And obviously if we don't get into the playoffs or get promoted, then yeah, we may have to let him go if that's the case. If he does keep on scoring goals for us in crucial moments, then we'll have to say probably goodbye to him after next season if we can't keep hold of him. So I think we definitely need to bring in a new defender, quite a tall guy, and yeah, I think we will definitely improve next season under Martin. He knows how the league is. He knows the type of players he wants. He's had a good look at the squad now to see which players he wants to be in the team and which ones he'd like to let go. So we just have to believe in him now.
Yeah, where do you think we'll finish? If you had to base off now, it's hard to say, but
I think we will improve. I'll go for 9th or 10th, similar to what we said at the start of the season. Yeah, I think we will finish 9th or 10th. There will be a slight improvement, I'd say. I don't think we're playoff quality just yet. I think there is a lot of improvements that need to be made in the squad. But yeah, just trust the process.
Yeah, obviously massive thanks for watching this video. It's the first one after the season's finished. We can confirm that we'll be, continuing with the content. We'll be doing some more Swansea content, as in like reacting to predictions and stuff like that, and maybe doing some montages. And then the attention will move to Wales then. So if you'd like us to do previews and watch-alongs and vlogs, because we will be doing a vlog for one of the Wales games. We'll be attending Belgium at home on the 11th of June in the Nations League, so we'll definitely be vlogging that. But if you want us to be consistent with Wales content like we do with the Swans previews, all that stuff, then yeah, let us know. But obviously thanks for watching this, and we'll see you in the next one.